Hi, Pam. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you had a good week. Oops. Hope you had a good weekend. Thanks for sharing, Pam. I'm going to do the same right now. If you will take a moment to share, I would appreciate it very much. I'm going to share one more and then we'll get started. Okay, don't forget to comment. Welcome to all of you. I am Mary from Stampin' Scrap with Mary Knabe, and I'm coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. And tonight is going to be a little bit different. I'm not actually going to necessarily complete a project with you, but I'm going to share several things that I made using the Music from the Heart stamp set, and then I'm going to give you some tips on using this. I will have you notice that this is a $1 million sales achiever stamp set, and this was created with the help of Dawn Olszewski, who was a recent well, I guess maybe last year, she was a $1 million sales achiever. And that is, so just so everybody knows, that is $1 million of personal sales, not team sales. Okay. So it's quite an achievement. So I think it's really cool too that they get to design a stamp set and even get this little insignia. And I think they even started putting the names in the catalogs now, which I think is really great. And someday I want to be a $1 million sales achiever, and hopefully we'll get to design a stamp set with the Stampin' Up! Design team. Okay, before we go into the projects, as I got out my clean sheet of grid paper, I pulled a paper pumpkin one out, and that reminded me that I want to point out that the February paper pumpkin kit is looking awesome, very awesome. And I think it's going to be very versatile. It's filled with bright colors. I've not actually seen it. I've only seen some little tidbits of information. But I think it's going to be fabulous. And you'll want to know that it does coordinate with our Happy Birthday to You celebration stamp set. So that's something to think about. And I'm hoping to get some more paper pumpkin customers in the very near future. I have a small but very loyal group of paper pumpkin subscribers, and I want to start doing something on a monthly basis, versus via a virtual party or Facebook Live specifically for my paper pumpkin customers. And I think it would be really great if we could include some new customers. And now is a great time, because if you purchase a 3-month paper pumpkin subscription prepaid, you can choose a level 1 celebration item from our brochure. So if you sign up by February 10th to get the February kit, and you sign up for a 3-month prepaid subscription or purchase a 3-month prepaid subscription, you might choose this as your one free item. And then, of course, any Paper Pumpkin subscriptions can be added to a personal order, a workshop order, a party order, demonstrator order, whatever. And there is no limit to the amount of celebration items that you can earn with your purchases. The other thing is the Paper Pumpkin prepaid subscriptions, and they come 1, 3, 6, or 12 months. Those count towards earning Stampin' rewards as well. Okay, so good for you to know. I also wanted to point out that when we met last time, which I believe was a week ago, more than a week ago, I've been sick all week, or a good part of the week, so have been down and out, and then I've been having some back pain the last several days. So it's been a week now since I've done any runs, so I'm sort of disappointed about that, not able to keep up with my training schedule. And I just was not up to doing any Facebook Lives this week. So that's why you haven't seen me in a while. Plus, last weekend was my 4-day Creative Escape weekend that I hosted for 46 women. But we made a birthday card, and I believe it was a wedding card, celebration of love card. And somebody said, oh, I wish there were dies for this. Well, they are coming, and this will be available in February. And I believe I told you wrong, that it would be something you would earn as a celebration item, and I believe that is incorrect. I believe you will be able to purchase the dies. Okay, you have to earn the stamp set or any celebration, anything in the celebration brochure with a qualifying purchase. But I believe that the coordinating products that are coming next month are ones that you will be able to purchase. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind. All right, but I found out later that I had told you wrong, incorrectly, so I wanted to correct that. Okay, let's get started with Music from the Heart. Okay, first of all, what should I show you first? I have 3 sets of cards to show you, and then a little project. So I'm going to let's start with this one. So on each of these, I'll be giving some tips for how to complete these. Now, on all of the cards you're going to see today, I'm going to move this because I see a big glare on that. I have used a package of the 3.5 by 5 inch note cards and envelopes. I believe those are about probably around $8, I'm thinking, $6, $8. And you get 20 cards. They're pre-cut and pre-scored, and 20 envelopes. So it's a great value. And it's great for making several cards at once. It's great for making cards for gifts. But please check those out if you haven't already, because they're a great value, and I think they're often overlooked in our catalog. So I just wanted to make some simple note cards. So I pulled 4 bright colors: Melon Mambo, Pineapple Punch, Gorgeous Grape, and Granny Apple Green. And I basically made the same card 4 times, but I just colored in that little heart on the note. Okay. I wanted to point out to you that I also coordinated the envelopes. Okay, that makes it fun, doesn't it? Oh shoot, I forgot to, well, I can't get it now. I'll have to show you Tuesday. I got some happy mail this week from one of my friends, team members, that I haven't seen in a while. And I wanted to show that off a bit. So the note cards are 3.5 by 5. So I cut my cardstock, the different colored cardstock, And honestly, you could stamp just that, just a note right on here, and that would make a fun, pretty note card. Simple, quick, fun, okay? But I think the colors really take the card to a whole new level. I cut these just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card front. So that's why I have that tiny little border of white around it. So the colored cardstock is cut 4 7/8, 4 7/8 long by 3 3/8. 4 7/8 by 3 3/8, and they're perfect size then for our note cards. Yes, these note cards are mailable. Somebody asked me, what would you really use these note cards for? I use them for anything and everything. You can make the standard size cards 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, or you can make these. They're both great. What people don't always know is that this size is mailable. Okay? It is mailable just like takes a regular, in the US, you know, I don't even know what postage is now because I always buy the forever stamps. I think it's around 50-55 cents, but it takes the very same postage as our standard size cards. All right. Then I decided to spruce up the card, not just with black cardstock, but I used black foil. And you know that black foil is awesome. I don't use it a lot, but when I do, I love how it just makes things pop and stand out a bit more. Like on these cards. Okay. And I cut the foil to 4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. Okay. Oh, Darla, thanks for joining me. It is fun to have you here live. So 4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. Darla is a wonderful Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that I have met. I think I met the first time at Founder Circle, but just at several different events. Lovely lady. Lots of fun. So the black foil is 4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. And then for the white, I went down 1/8 of an inch. So it's going to be 3 7/8 by 2 3/8. 3 7/8 by 2 3/8. And so here you can see that I've got my inks and everything ready to go here. I can ink up all of my envelopes very quickly. 1, 2, 3. Looks like I'm not pressing on that one side well enough. And 4. And these are simple and quick. Okay. I'm just going to put, let me set these envelopes aside. I really should be using my Stampin' Pierce mat, especially because I'm using a photopolymer stamp set. Get better images when you use the photopolymer stamps on top of the Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm stamping with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. That's sort of my go-to. I think I'm going to have to re-ink it soon because I've been using just that one all day. And I just got a smudge from the corner of my block while I was hurrying. So I'm going to flip that over and do it again. Great thing about our cardstock, there's 2 sides to each piece. So if you make a mistake like me, it's easy to just flip it right over. Okay, and then I can add just a note. Now I like to add, I felt more comfortable stamping the note first because it gave me a better idea of where exactly I wanted to place the words. And I'm just stamping that right beside. So you can see too, once you come up with a card design or layout, it's a good idea to prep all your pieces. And then you just start working what I call assembly line style. I did all my cutting first. Then I did all my stamping. Okay, now I'm going to color in all of these. I guess I have an extra one here. I'm going to color these in. So here's the one for Granny Apple Green. Pineapple Punch. It's almost fluorescent, it's so bright. The Gorgeous Grape. And then finally we'll do the Melon Mambo. Whoops, I want to use the paintbrush end. Now, okay, so I have those 4 and those are ready to go to put my cards together like the ones I just showed you. What I do want to show you before we move on, I'll put just one of these together. I don't think you need to see me do all those. What I wanted to show you is, you say, oh, Mary, but there's that coloring. What if I don't have those same colors? Well, you choose whatever colors you want to make these, okay? But if you say, well, I don't have the right color marker, here is the solution. Stampin' Up's blender pens. You get, these come in a set of 3, and you're going to ask me the price, and I don't know off the top of my head. I want to say $12, but you get a set of 3, and you use them over and over and over and over, and you can switch out colors with them. So basically, when I open mine, now you can see I used this just a little while ago, and I wanted to show you. I didn't clean it. Okay? So I would say, after you've had them a while and used them a while, I always say start out making sure that the tip is clean. On the other one, you can see it's clean. It's running clear. But the way to use these is, so if you don't have the set of markers and you like coloring or filling things in, I would highly suggest you get some of these blender pens. They're called blender pens, and you get a set of 3. And you just tap it into your ink pad, and it picks up the ink, and it works just like our Stampin' Right markers. And the Stampin' Right markers contain, thanks Pam, $12 for the set of 3. Pam also was a Stampin' Up demonstrator, so that helps to have somebody who can point those things out for you. And you just keep going like that. You see now how it's almost clear? That means I'm getting a lot of the ink out. Okay, and then when your tip is clear, then you'd be able to use it with another color. So that's why these are such a great value at $12 for a set of 3. And you're going to use them over and over and over and over. They are slightly moistened. I don't know what the solution is, but it's so very slight, like you can't really even tell. Okay, so Stampin' blends or blender pens are the solution for when you need some markers in colors that you don't have yet. And Marty Blair says they work great on pastels as well. Good to know. They also work well blending our watercolor pencils. So lots of ways to use those. Thanks for chiming in there, Marty. I did not know that. I don't have any pastels to work with. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and I'm just very quickly going to put one of these cards together to show you how quick and easy it is. I like pretty cards, but I also like to do lots of different cards. I'm continually designing for myself, for customers, classes, that sort of thing. And right now is celebration going on. I would love for any and all of you to join my team. And I would also love to get some Stampin' Up! Parties or workshops on my calendar. And did you know when you host a Stampin' Up! Party, any of the Stampin' rewards that you earn as the host can be used towards the purchase of a starter kit. That is how Cecilia Bostico on my team purchased her starter kit a few years ago. She and her daughter hosted a party, and she had such a good party, she had enough Stampin' rewards to purchase the starter kit and then some. Okay, and lost my train of thought. And didn't have to put any money of her own towards that starter kit. It all came from her projects. Darla, I agree. Using that layout is simple and fun. Another thing, I should have done that. Another thing you could do, if you want to change that up, you could just put it at an angle. And I think that makes it kind of fun too. Another way to change it up a bit is turn it vertical. You can also add some embossing to the colored cardstock. So just a real simple basic layout that you can start with, but then as you play with it, change it up a bit, okay? And you make some in colors that you enjoy using. Okay. Also, I would color these as well, these envelopes. Okay. Next, I'm going to show you, let's see, I'll show you this one next. These cards are a set of just simple black and white cards. Okay, I've used the piano keys there and the treble clef. Piano keys with the guitar. I'm going to show you how to stamp this guitar because it's actually two pieces. It's the treble clef plus the handle or the arm, I don't know what you call it, arm of the guitar maybe. Okay, and each one of these note cards also has a coordinating envelope. And this one, happy birthday, and the heart. That little heart comes in the stamp set as well. But the really fun part about these cards is this. Okay. And I've put a piece of black foil at the bottom of the inside to kind of show off the piano keys. But let me show you how easy it is to do that. Okay, I'm gonna put this piece of cardboard here because I am stamping off and I don't need to, don't want to have to clean the mat later. And I'm going to start by just inking up the piano keys, and I'm going to test it out on my grid paper, my scrap paper. Perfect. Now I'm going to start over on the edge here. Now the next one, I'm going to match up the left edge with the right edge of the first one I stamped. Well, hard to see without getting my head in the camera view. And I'm going to do it one more time, going off the paper. Okay. I did pretty well, didn't I? Now, if you want to just smooth, whoops, I'll use the fine tip. If you want to smooth that little edge there, you can do that. Okay. And I would do that if I were leaving it that way. But I'm not going to leave it that way. I'm going to trim away the cardstock beneath the piano keys. And this is very, very simple. You just follow follow that curved line. Who's planning to watch the Grammys tonight? I came downstairs to my Stampin' studio several hours ago and was trying to think, what do I want to do for Facebook Live tonight? And I don't know what made me, why it popped into my head in the middle of the afternoon, but it's Grammy night. So I decided that I would use this stamp set. Right? What better night? Okay. Then I'm going to cut a piece of foil, black foil paper, and I need it to be 5 inches wide, the same width as the note card. And before I did 3/4, but this one, I think I went a little bit high, so I'm going to cut this like 1 inch instead. And the width of your strip is dependent on how high or low you put your piano keys. This one is a little bit higher. This card, the piano keys are a little bit higher than the others I made. So now I'm just gonna put some adhesive on. Crazy outfits, yeah, I believe it, Pam. A lot of times I don't even know a lot of the music, but I still like watching. There's always some I'm familiar with and enjoy. And it's fun to be excited and happy for people when they win and all that. Okay, so that's how you do that. Okay, and then like I said, on these I just added a little bit more. I did a happy birthday with red hearts, and that's how I did the envelope. The piano. Did you notice the heart for the piano top? If you wanted to add a little color, maybe you could fill that in, or just go around the edge with some red. Here's that guitar and the treble clef, and inside it says, forget your troubles. Okay, right now I want to show you how to stamp the guitar, because it is not one stamp, it's 2 stamps to make that guitar. You're going to start with the treble clef. You're going to use the treble clef stamp, and then this, say, neck. Is it neck of the guitar or arm of the guitar? I think it's neck. Any guitar players out there that can help me out? Anyways, and what you're going to do is connect the 2. When you do this, you have to think about the neck of the guitar connecting to this part of the treble clef. It is neck. Okay, thanks, Marty. I knew somebody out there would know. Okay, so now I'm going to match up the neck of the guitar. So the neck of top edge will come off here, and the swirly edge will meet on the circle of the treble clef. Darla, I'm glad you like the cards. Thank you so much. Okay? And it's really not that difficult. Once you do one and you know where to match up, it's easy. Okay? So those are my tips for making the black and white note cards. And finally, I want to show you, I need to set some of these things aside. These are black and white with a pop of color. I chose red just because that's what I like. You could choose any color you want. Oh, I'm seeing sad faces. I'm not sure why that is. Okay, so black and white with a pop of color. So I chose red, but you know, blues, Calypso Coral, Balmy Blue, anything. If you like it, it's going to be wonderful and other people will like it too. So I just made 4 vertical cards. I used the same technique before, connecting the piano keys and tied a ribbon. The ribbon goes all the way around and I just put a simple knot, okay? And then I did this to decorate the envelope. Okay, just a note. I've got a little bit of the black foil and a little bit of the red. Just a note of thanks. And I've got some music notes on the front of that card. Forget your troubles. Okay, and I used 2 different stamp sets and layered them up. And a treble clef on the envelope. And again, you see the black foil and some red. Okay, and then this one was just kind of fun. You rock. Okay, I'm not sure how well you can see this on the video, but I used an embossing folder that comes from a bundle in our celebration brochure. Let me show that to you. But it looks like rocks, like stone. So kind of had used the play on words there. Marty, thank you. I'm kind of a less is more style person, more simple. Okay, the Power of Hope bundle. It comes with the stamp set. I love, love, love this thing. But part of this bundle is the stone 3D embossing folder, which is really kind of cool. I just love that. Okay, so that is the 3rd set. Now think about this. Those note cards cost what? I want to say it was in here somewhere. I saw it. Pam, can you tell me? Are they $6? They used to be $6. Are they $8? Okay. How fun and easy is that? Now, who would you give these to? Number 1, anybody who plays an instrument. Number 2, music lovers. Number 3, a band director. Number 4, a music teacher. Teachers in general, a note of thanks. They would use those all the time. Or just a note. Oh, yes. Yes, Shar, check it out because I think you will like it. Who else can you give it to? You know, perhaps a teenager for a birthday, or just some encouragement or congratulations. So far I have shown you 3 sets of 4 cards, so that's 12. There are still 8 cards left, $7 for 20. Think about that. And I still have enough to make 8 more cards. So it's a great value and so much fun to use. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with it. If you need a quick and simple gift, there's nothing wrong with making some fun cards like this. And even just putting them in one of our medium clear envelopes, tie it up with a ribbon and a little to from tag. Simple. Yes, Pam, they do come in both Whisper White and Very Vanilla, so that's nice. Okay, now I need to show you a fun project. As you know, I'm trying to get my basement together. I've been working down here, but it's not ready for stamp classes yet and cropping, scrapbooking just yet. And every time I go upstairs, I take something up that needs to, because I'm kind of switching things. And what I was using as a craft room is going back to being a bedroom, a guest room. And I have lots of things in the closet up there, so I'm always carrying something down. Well, I went in that closet upstairs to get something, and I found these cute little tins, and I decided, you know what, today is the day. And I only had a handful of them. I'm not sure where I even got them from, but I thought I'm going to come up with a project today to use some of these. So I made one of these for each of my daughters. The lid pops open like that. I just put a piece of black cardstock around. I used our heart-shaped doilies that are in the From My Heart product suite in the mini catalog. And then I used You're the Music in My Heart sentiment from Music from the Heart stamp set. Okay, so I'm combining that stamp set with a product from the From My Heart suite. I also cut this banner edge. I didn't want a real deep cut like our triple banner punch, so let me see if I can grab one. So I decided I would use the tailored tag punch instead. And I just go in like this, try to center it, and punch. Okay, and you get just a shorter V. Okay. I also rounded the corners of that black cardstock because my little tin has rounded corners, and I used this punch for that purpose. And I'm going to show it to you again. Now inside, oh, Marty, great idea. Marty is just the epitome of crafter. She knows so many different crafts. She's an artist, but she says she's used the little tins for handmade soaps. That's awesome. And what a great way to package them and give them as gifts. So my thought is inside here that I would send each of my girls one for Valentine's Day. And inside I'd write, so I have 3 little cards. I might put more in, I'm not sure. Maybe stick a little cash in there. They can treat themselves to the movies or dinner or whatever. You know, Emily's in grad school, so those got to take care of those college students. And Andrea would just be fun. She's a teacher and we're very well deserving of some treats now and then. So I just made these little cards. They open like this. I've rounded the corners. And my thought is I'm just going to write why they're special to me. I'll have different reasons, a different message, my hopes for them, whatever it may be. Maybe I'll put some more in there, I'm not sure. But I could also put like a little candy bar or something like that as well. Piece of jewelry or something, but I don't go crazy for Valentine's Day. So it'll really just be about these notes and why they are so special to me and why I'm so proud of them. But you can see I've used so it's a Valentine gift, but I've used the Music from the Heart stamp set. Okay, and you can see, I will give you a couple pointers on this one. That's 3 different stamps. I put all 3 of those stamps on one block. So what I did was I lined up my stamps on the grid paper. When I liked how they were lined up, I stamped, or I put the Stampin' block on top of them and picked up the stamps. And then you can always test it out before you stamp on your card. Okay, so just a quick little tip there. And I do have a little tip for all these little hearts I put on. This, let me clean it a second. This heart stamp is so tiny. It's like 1/4 of an inch, okay? Super tiny. You can use the little square acrylic block, but I find that when I'm using it, I'm having a hard time seeing this. So I like to use, for these very small stamps, this size block, because this acts as a handle and my hand is not covering up that little stamp. And when I do this, you don't have to stamp in the middle. If you're doing small stamps, we tend to always press in the center of our ink pads. So there's lots of ink around the outside. So don't forget to press your ink into the outside of the pads. And this one, I just tap it in the corner and I'll just stamp it there. Okay? Super simple. The other thing is, if I had another little stamp, I would flip it around and put it this way. So again, I'm using the same one. All right. And it's just easier to keep track of it. And for me, it's really about being able to see the whole stamp when I'm using it, because it's so tiny. If I'm using the square one, I tend to cover up the stamp. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what I have for you today. Oh, I will show you one more thing. On these, I did cut out, I decided what size card I needed. I'm not going to give you specific dimensions because your dimensions may vary based on the tins that you have. Some people will use an Altoid, the mince, a tin from those. I'm trying to think what else. I have some bigger tins. The one is from, works the same way, but it's about this size. And we got it at the Hershey Chocolate Factory. I don't remember what was in it, but we have a couple of those. So you'll want to do your measuring based on the container you are using. Okay, but I did want to show you how I made these little cards. I knew the size. Where's my little piece here? Uh-oh. I knew what size I wanted. I wanted them to be 2 inches by 3 1/4. Okay. If it's front and back, we're doing 4 inches, right? By 3 1/4. So here's my 2 inches by 3 1/4. You want to double that to get the fold. So with a standard sheet of cardstock, and I knew I'd need several of them as well. So I wanted to cut several at a time. Then I scooted it over to 2 inches and I scored at 2 inches. Then I started cutting at 3 1/4 inches, the width for all of my cards. Okay. So for this particular tin of mine, I was able to get 6 little cards out of one sheet of the cardstock, which is pretty awesome. Now, when you're using this punch, make sure that you have a good crease. And please note, this is our regular Whisper White cardstock. It is not, it's not the thick cardstock. Okay, it's just regular Whisper White. There are grooves here, and you need to make sure that the top and the sides, the edges are right there along those grooves. Okay, I'm going to turn it again, and same thing. The sides need to be against those 2 grooves. That tells me I have it in place correctly. And you keep doing that all the way around. It's just really important that you get both sides against those 2 grooves. Okay. And that's how I got my card, with the rounded edges. Okay. If you are watching and you are still here right now, be sure to comment, because I am going to make one more of these tins to give away to one lucky winner tonight. And you can spread the love and pay it forward by sharing it with somebody else, or sharing the idea, casing the idea, and using it in your own way. So if you have not already commented, please do. And I will, after the live ends, I will choose a winner. Pat, thank you. I'm glad you love the projects. Lisa, thanks for sharing. Lisa, I showed several different things that I did with the Music from the Heart stamp set. Here's one set of note cards. And there's all kinds of stuff around. Here's another set of note cards I showed. And it's really about showing the projects and tips, okay? Tips for using this particular stamp set. And then the black and white cards with the piano keys, okay? Has a fun, I think I actually like it better when it's a smaller edge. What do you think? Either way works. There's another. It's got that. So just a fun twist on a basic, simple card. Love that piano. Every time I see a grand piano, it reminds me of my dad, because he had a grand piano at home and played it. And then my sister had it for a long time. Alrighty. Thanks for joining me tonight. Have a great week. I think I'm over my flu and whatever that was keeping me down for a couple days. I had a couple days where it seemed like all I did was sleep. But I guess I really needed